Hey Eden, how's it going? Hey, I'm excited to be reaching out about ExactBuyer and sharing some ideas for you. I know this industry pretty well myself. I'm going to show you some great examples, I think, in this video. But specifically, again, why I reached out is I was just taking a look for ExactBuyer and noticed that really there's not much going on when we're speaking about organic traffic from Google, right? And I know for a fact in some of the examples I'll show you that there is a ton of opportunity to be driving targeted traffic and driving signups off the back of that for ExactBuyer. Now, I think like one of the big things that really stands out to me that when I, kind of look at the website and browse around the different sections from the header navigation and some of the content, that really the content that's currently on the website, it's not really mapped against search volume. It's not really built seemingly to me in a strategic way where you're really focusing on mapping some of those pages back to actual search queries that are going on, right? So starting really with the bottom of the funnel. So typically those are features and benefits pages, use cases, in some cases, depending on the SaaS or software integrations. Those are really the easy wins to start with, where you start with the bottom of the funnel where the conversions actually happen and work your way up to the middle to the top, from where you're trying to create more brand awareness, et cetera, et cetera. So I think starting at the bottom of the funnel here, again, the product pages themselves, they mostly links to a subdomain. Looks like these are all in one singular page, /products. Same goes with what's down here in the footer. So these are just linking to the home page with an anchor itself. So what I'm trying to say is by having an individual landing page for each of these features and benefits or each of the use cases, you can map that back against search volume. And that's how those pages can actually start to rank and be found in Google, right? I think a few examples of that, I'm going to show you a few different ones here. I think a few of these are definitely direct competitors from what I know, for example, Lucia, Rocket Reach, and a few others. But if you take a look, for example, at what Lucia has done, for example, in their header nav and the footer navigation, they have specific pages that they've created. For example, under products, they have prospecting platform, right? So this specific page, they're targeting here B2B prospecting tools. So users that are searching for B2B prospecting tool theoretically are hitting this specific page, which is a bottom funnel conversion based page. That's why they have this broken out into individual pages rather than linking all to the home page, right? That's how they can leverage this to actually drive bottom funnel users to the website. So I think that's a big one. Same goes for example for Rocket Reach. I'm sorry, for Finder.io. They have actually a little bit more of an extensive section here into resources. But first of all, they have these individual features pages are also mapped against search terms. They have their own pages, right? But if you look at resources, they have all these individual email hunter, email validator, email list, email checker. So these are different parts of the tool. I understand that might not be a direct one-to-one mapping with the offer that ExactBuyer has, but this is exactly how we can target those different features and benefits and map that back against how users are actually searching, right? And again, I know ExactBuyer is focused on the B2B side, so those queries and structure might look a little bit different. But just what I'm trying to get at here is the sheer amount of opportunity that currently that's not being, targeted against any search queries. Hence why there's really no organic traffic coming to ExactBuyer, right? Ahrefs says about 12 per month. I'm guessing 50, 100 organic sessions per month. Probably 90% of those are branded search terms, people that already know ExactBuyer. Maybe they saw a paid ad if you're running those. Again, I know you know that data probably better than I do for sure, but yeah, so that's number one. I think something else really interesting, a few other things I can share with you as well, is also people that are looking for alternatives or they're comparing either ExactBuyer to a competitor or they're comparing two different competitors where you can insert ExactBuyer into that conversation, right? What I mean by that is if you take a look at any of your direct competitors and you run a query for example, Rocket Reach alternatives, just assuming here Rocket Reach would be a fit, you'll see that, for example, Swordfish here has a page. Basically, they're comparing how Swordfish, how Rocket Reach stacks up against some of these different companies. And also in the search results as well, you'll see some of the typical guys, G2, Capterra, et cetera, et cetera. Now, you don't want to let G2 or Capterra or any of the aggregators or your competitors to control the narrative about your software and what you do best, right? So for example, even if you don't have a lot of brand awareness just yet. There's not a lot of branded search queries going on where people are maybe comparing ExactBuyer to a Rocket Reach or another competitor. What you can do is you can still create these pages to steal some of their search volume and get in front of users that are very bottom funnel and that are looking and comparing two different products, right? So for example, if somebody's comparing Rocket Reach versus Lucia as an example, theoretically what you can do is you can create a page for Rocket Reach versus Lucia versus ExactBuyer and insert ExactBuyer into that conversation, right? That's kind of the earlier strategy. Here's a perfect example. This is on SourceForge, but nonetheless, or followers card, again, kind of an aggregator, but Hunter versus Rocket versus Snow versus Lucia, right? So that's a great example of like inserting into the conversation, right? That's number one. And the same goes for alternatives. So you can easily create alternative pages to your competitors. Those are people that are looking to switch. They're looking for another solution and another offer and what's out there compared to who they're currently using. And that's how you can start to get into that conversation simply by building that page. Right. And again, I showed the Swordfish example earlier, but Finder's in here. Finder.io has Rocket Reach alternative. So if we open this up, basically they're saying, well, hey, we're an alternative to Rocket Reach, right? Here's why we're better. Here's pricing comparison. Here's what you're missing, like the typical comparison page, best practice, why us, value prop, customer testimonials, get started. So this is huge. This is, typical bottom funnel, great example, and something I think you could be leveraging even with no brand awareness, right? So that's another one. I think, kind of a bigger example and something probably down the line to think about, but I know a little bit about Rocket Reach. And I think one thing they've done really well and an interesting strategy that they've used is they've actually created individual listing pages for each and every contact in their database, right? So for example, if I pop your name in here with email address, they have a page set up for you. I'm not sure if you've seen this before, but they have a page set up where they have a bit of basic information. I'm sure this was scraped from LinkedIn and added on here, but basically, the call to action here is to view the email and phone. It's free, right? So this is how they're leveraging people that are running individual searches for a particular person in Google, right? So that's probably something that's a bit more involved and in depth, but I think it's super interesting. And hey, that's how Rocket Reach has got to over 1 million organic users per month. So that's quite a large number. The other interesting thing, by the way, they do is they also have a lot of different pages, but one example of that is they have also these, for example, so company email format, so Accenture email format or Microsoft email format. These are some of their top driving traffic pages of the website, right? So if I look at best by traffic, number 2, the most trafficked page on Rocket Reach is Accenture email format. The next is AT&T email format, right? And there's some other ones as you go down the list, but this is very powerful. This is another way they just get in front of people that are prospecting, that are trying to understand that they're adding value, and they're like, hey, do you want to get verified emails for 3,000 and some Accenture employees? Well, we can do that for you, save you a lot of time, right? So yeah, that's another super interesting strategy. But yeah, those are a few kind of top of mind ideas. I think just starting with bottom of the funnel, those use cases, features and benefits, alternative comparison. I didn't really touch even on middle of the funnel or top of the funnel, which are really also important, and especially top of the funnel to leverage that into build your backlink profile so that those pages are actually able to rank. And that's a whole other topic, I think. But looking at the low hanging fruit, bottom of the funnel, there's a ton of opportunity there. There's nothing, not much really going on organically for ExactBuyer. So yeah, obviously sky's the limit, a lot of opportunity. Would love to share some more ideas with Eden if it's interesting. And yeah, take a look through. Let me know what you think, and happy to connect and discuss further. Appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day. Take care.